Hey there, everyone. I hope you are all doing good. Today, I'm going to talk to you about the new Octaves VCO by Befaco. GABBER. First of all, many thanks to Befaco to have sent me this module and a few others to try, as well as the output bus to use in my Schlappy patching case. This is the system that you usually see on Schlappy Engineering's channel when I do the Schlappy patching video, but when I saw this guy, I knew that it was going to be friends with the nibblers. That's why I wanted to try it in this case. Anyway, let's have a brief look at what it does. Let's take this first output. I'm going to patch it to data so we can have a look at it, and then to the output bus. We don't have any sound, because we need to push the volume, this little slider here. And what we have now is a square wave. With a pulse width control and PWM input. The PWM can go to 0. Then we have 2 volt per octave input, something that I always liked, having 2. A sync input, so we can use an external VCO to sync this one. A tune control that has 3 different range. I'm in the smallest here. It's a very, very tiny range to tune it. This one's a few octaves and a full-on coarse control. As it also have this octave control, it's easy to choose the range to tune it with any other VCO that you have. Then what makes this one particularly fun are, of course, those sliders. So here I was on output 1. So I only add the fundamental. If you want to have access to the 6 sliders at once, you take the 6th output, because it is basically a mixer of the whole thing. So we have the fundamental, an octave above, these are all square waves at the same duty cycle set with the pulse width control, which gives them a very weird sound when you modulate everything. Actually, it reminds me of I think it's the SH3 from Roland, which had a similar interface in its VCO section. And we have control input for each of these sliders. So let's patch something. I'm going to use this as a clock, to clock one nibbler. One thing that I had fun doing, taking one of the stepped out to control the fundamental. And once you patch something, this becomes an attenuator on the CV signal you're sending in. I'm going to mention as well that if I take this output, basically what I have here is a mix of these three, ignoring what's on top. If I take this, I have the same signal because that's where I was, but if I move those sliders, here I have nothing, but I can take this output to send it somewhere else, which is what I was doing in the jam at the beginning. Back on this. Then let's take some of the gate out of the nibbler to trigger some envelopes. One fun thing would be to use something phase related as well. I'm going to set the angle grinder in low mode, so I can use this output as phase shifted sine waves. Was recording very low, sorry. Should be better now. So this is a pretty complex signal. Even though we haven't used any pitch, nothing. This is something that would be quite fun sent to a filter, so. Let's send it to the 100 grid. The other stepped output actually, out of phase as well, to control the pulse width. Let's try to hear how it sounds with the sync. Actually, I have this oscillator of the treble in ratio mode. Let's use this guy. So here we are, using basically everything at once. Getting some echo from a Strymon Volante right now. So yeah, pretty cool. So I just want to try another patch. I'm going to send a classic arpeggio with a key step that's hidden under the table. Okay. I'm going to send the output to the angle grinder in filter mode. With lots of resonance. Trying to keep it clean. See, I've also clocked the nibbler. with the gate, the same that is triggering an envelope. What I want to do basically is to have a few VCAs, a few envelopes triggering the internal VCA of the Octave VCO before sending it to the very resonant filter. Let's see how it sounds. Basically, we have an arpeggio on top of an arpeggio. More chiptune with step modulation to the pulse width. Let's also send some step modulation at a different phase to the filter. Start to get some pings. Slow everything down and see what we can get out of this. Pretty fun for the pings. Probably even could be used as a clock with different tempo, basically. Going to think about that later. Just a little thing I wanted to add about those two 1 volt per octave inputs on the top of the Octave VCO. Obviously, this could be used sending, for example, one sequence for modular sequencer, then a keyboard in the other one just to transpose things. But think that if you want to use it for frequency modulation, you can. These are just unattenuated exponential FM inputs. So, here I have the Octave VCO going to the body VCF, then to the 100 grid just for a bit more distortion, because we never know. And I have a sharp envelope from the boundary going through its VCA, but just to be used with the bias control as an attenuator for the control. And this is going to the 1 volt per octave input. So the more I go in, the more I modulate the frequency of the VCO, which gives me those nice fat kick drums. GABBER. And I found a fun trick. Duplicate that envelope. Okay, so now I'm also controlling with another envelope, but a bit longer one, the volume of that VCA. Now let's add some resonance. And some tweak filter things. Crank the input. More distortion. Slow down the clock a little bit so we can hear it. So now what I can do is to bring the other octaves to get the equivalent of octave feedback. Like if there was sidechain, but the sidechain is actually just a distortion. And we can of course control that. Also with control you can bug it out completely. Let's add the feedback on the body VCF. Also have the same envelope that's doing the FM on the Octave VCO, doing the frequency on the body VCF. Trigger an envelope of another rhythm to cut everything. Using the integrated VCA on the 100 grid. On the body VCF actually. Just gives us something quite different. Some nice dirt in this. Well, that's it for today. Just scratching the surface, but I guess it shows that it's a pretty fun VCO with quite original takes. Anyway, see you next time, and thanks again, Befaco. Go have a look at my Patreon if you want some teachings, sample packs, or if you just want some jams that I upload regularly to help the channel. You can also buy stuff from the affiliate links in the description, so I'd get a little cut on it. Many thanks. Bye bye.